Hello, and happy Thursday, community. Welcome to today's community event on this beautiful Thursday. As always, we're always looking forward and are thrilled to have these sessions with you, community. I hope your week is going great so far. And as always, we're always thrilled to have these sessions with you. So welcome again, and happy Thursday to all of us. Hope you're safe, you're healthy. And there is quite a bit to discuss today, as the topic gave it away. Traditional finance and blockchain, right? Which traditional finance, obviously we mean TradFi, traditional finance, and then blockchain represents DeFi. So often the question is one versus the other, right? Or this is something that is engraved in us that we have to choose one or the other, right? However, today we're going to really highlight and pull on some parallels to look at that. Why pick one or the other if you can have both of best worlds, right? And we also realize that both feed into each other. The choices remain ours, right? However, there's ways that we realize that still both worlds need each other. So we can combine the best of TradFi, combine the best of DeFi, and then use the technology, the blockchain technology, to facilitate all of that, to still make it decentralized in its core, while still having regulations, clarity, guidelines, all of that as well. So with that, we go to the core of the topic. Of course, if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. We are a very active community, focused on education, focused on being informed and educated. We are very passionate about this technology. We are very passionate about this industry, and we are so eager to learn and embrace it, because we realize that this is something that is at its infancy stage still. It's something that once embraced and understood, it's here to stay regardless. So the earlier we understand it and embrace it and know how to use it accordingly and are part of a solution as a community, the better for us. So let's understand traditional finance and blockchain. Why choose one or the other if we can use best of both worlds and combine them? So throughout this session, we're going to highlight how they can coexist and how we can get the best out of both of them. With that said, needless to say, we have our daily activities, which is tweeting. So all tweets are out, community. Killer Whale, BULLRUN, and Survivor, all of them are out already. So let's ensure that we engage with the tweets, for the simple reason that, like we just said, it's about bringing awareness. It's about engaging the community, have a community event that we all can participate. And this participation starts from the creativity of the individuals creating these beautiful banners, and then moves over to the individual literally posting it and adding some text to it so that it makes sense, so that it's informational and educational, and then it trickles down to us, where now we are engaging with it in the form of retweeting, liking, commenting. That's how we go full circle. And the whole community has a daily activity that we can participate on. And as we're doing that, we are bringing awareness, we are being informed, educated, and we are engaging and bringing awareness to our industry that we're so passionate about, while we're also highlighting the challenges that we are addressing, and that we are part of a solution. And we are addressing these 4 challenges using our ecosystem. That's what these daily tweets are all about. That's the whole vision behind it. That's the whole motive behind it, is to bring awareness about our ecosystem and our industry as well. And while doing so, we are also engaging the community, and we are gaining, we are aiming to be informed and educated while doing all of that. So with all of that said, so those who have not yet done so, I highly encourage us to do so. And as always, I see your comments. We'll come to every single one of them at the end. to come full circle at the end and engage with every single one of those messages, comments that you put forth right now, since there's quite a bit to cover. Let's get right into today's topic, like we just said. And to do so, before we do so, let's just briefly browse through CoinMarketCap and see what's happening. I'm sure it's already refreshed, but just to be sure, and refresh again. We see here the market, it's really even, like it's going sideways right now. There's really not much activities right now in the market, as we can see here. The last 24 hours, it's been sideways. Um, what's always interesting is on the top right here, the fear and greed index. This is so interesting because we are within a market that is literally very, very sentiment driven, right? And very emotional, depending on what's trending, depending on what's the hottest, latest news. But it also goes beyond the borders and looks at geopolitics, what's happening right now. We are hearing peace talks actually today in Turkey. Russia and Ukraine are meeting to discuss peace talks in Istanbul. We also had earlier this week, I should say, how the U.S. and China also sitting at the table, and Switzerland, and we're discussing. We're having a discussion of peace talks and mutual understanding to ease the trade deals. So a lot of positive items are happening right now that are calling for a favorable market, and we see how things are unfolding. Also, we realize that there's still quite a bit happening right now. We see a lot of crypto projects going through IPOs, meaning initial public offerings, meaning that they are literally becoming official businesses. For example, like Coinbase, which is the largest crypto exchange in the US, in Northern America, and they are actually being listed now in the largest index fund in the world, which is the S&P 500. And this is just another major step to really solidify today's topic, is that here we have a decentralized blockchain-based crypto exchange that is literally using traditional rails and using established traditional exchanges such as the S&P 500 to bring exposure to the crypto industry. So this literally is the segue to today's topic, right? Where traditional finance embraces blockchain, and the blockchain-based institutions are literally also embracing traditional rails such as the stock market, and much, much more, as we are about to realize and see as we progress throughout this session today. So with all of that said, let's jump head fast into today's session, right? We're not tipping our toes into the water to check the temperature. We're going head first right in. So here we have a famous article from the World Economic Forum. Why World Economic Forum? This is an organization with unelected officials that are meeting once a year in Davos in Switzerland. Seems like all the important things take place right there in Switzerland. And this is what they come up with. Right, they came up with how tokenization is going to transform global finance and investments. Keep in mind, we always like to set the stage so that we have a mental roadmap that will guide us throughout the session. So here we are in the process of setting the stage, and for us to understand what we're about to walk through and go through throughout this session. So the stage is being set as we speak. So tokenization is here to stay. Tokenization is literally going from TradFi, traditional finance, and then embracing the blockchain technology and pouring TradFi on top of DeFi. That's the whole idea of tokenization. And this is to make things more efficient, more auditable, more verifiable, easier to have an overview and to consolidate things, just a fancy word of that means putting things in one place and not things are not all over the place, right? So let's look at and verify what this really means. So in its simplest form, it says it right here: the tokenization of financial assets on the blockchain is gaining momentum at an institutional and governmental level. So this sentence alone literally sets the stage for today's topic, right? So here we see traditional finance tokenizing financial assets so that they can be launched on the blockchain. This is gaining momentum for both the institutional side, however, the governmental side. As always, we'll not take this article's word for it. We'll have to verify this. We are a community that thinks critically, and we like to verify things. So we won't leave this just like that. We'll have to verify if this is literally a fact, right? So we'll get back to that one. So the second point here is that the process could help overcome exactly what we're talking about: fragmentation, or rather fragmented financial flows, and foster greater industry collaboration. Right now, like we've been discussing, these financial assets are, for example, commodities. Commodities are traded on a specific exchange. We have real estate. They're also traded on a separate specific exchange. We could go on with stock markets, same thing. And then the bond market is a whole different beast altogether, right? So the point of tokenizing assets is to bring and overcome fragmentation, right? And financial flows, to bring all that together, right? And to literally collaborate these industries, migrate these industries together. So the benefits of tokenization in these markets, capital markets, will increase exponentially, right? As more institutions and infrastructures see the advantages for themselves, right? So both institutions and infrastructures, we always talk about this, where the infrastructure is being built, right? So if we just pay attention to where things are being deployed, developed, built, spent on, this is very important, and this is shedding the light to where things are shifting towards, right? So another thing I want us to just highlight here is that overcoming the fragmentation, like we just discussed. So the world is increasingly interconnected across financial trade flows, yet every asset class is traded on a different fragmented pyramid of aging technology systems. Exactly what we just discussed, right? Every asset, can you imagine how tedious that is? Every asset class is traded on a different, even more fragmented pyramid. And then it's built on an aging technology as well, that is based on spreadsheets like Excel, or databases that are outdated and have human error. So these are things that we are faced with. These are challenges. I always like to look at them as challenges, because challenges open doors to opportunities, right? And this is just, keep in mind, we're still just setting the stage here and just highlighting the realities of things as we see them today. Another thing that I want us to look at it is this: what's the business case? Why tokenization? Why do things if they don't matter? Why do things if they're not going to move this technology forward, improve the specific business or industry as a whole? You don't just do things because. You do things for a reason, to address challenges, to have a competitive advantage, to facilitate things, to make things more transparent, and to just be up to date with the latest technology. And this is the business case of tokenization. Number one business case for it: straightforward and to the point. Smart contracts. What are smart contracts? They are automated processes using the digital ledger. So with the smart contracts on the digital ledger, you're literally doing multiple things now. This mandate and repetitive jobs and activities done in the real world, you can now and that are filled with human error, you can now automate all of those processes and implement smart contracts to do that. And all these fragmented, various, like we saw here, all these, every asset class is traded on a different ledger, right? And using aging technologies, every asset is traded on a different ledger. Now, here it comes. The business case is that all of that now will be put under one smart contract, under one digital ledger. It can be verified. It's easier to use. All are consolidated under one place on using smart contract to automate all of this. And it's also shortens the settlement cycles. Like we know, it's no more business hours. It doesn't take 3 to 5 business days to clear a transaction, because it has to go through various intermediaries and so on and so forth. And also, like we know, this is again between traditional finance and DeFi. Obviously, traditional finance has the most liquidity, so this will improve that as well. This liquidity is fragmented, like we said. The real estate has its own liquidity pool, and then we have a stock market, the bond market, the real estate market. They all have different liquidity pools. But now, with settling everything under one ledger, this will improve and bring together all those various different liquidity pools under one place. And this will also cause more market efficiency, and it will lower the risks, the systemic risks that we are faced with, right? And also, it will be able to meet the demands for the 24/7 market operations. This means more revenues for these industries and institutions that are literally embracing this technology, because now they're not limited to borders and business hours, but now, depending on irrelevant of which geographic region we're from, we can always participate, because we don't deal with humans anymore, but now we're dealing with smart contracts that are automated. So it goes further than this, and it says that to achieve all of these is great. It sounds great in theory, but in practice, all of these things literally need a new facelift. It needs a new infrastructure. And this infrastructure is the backbone of all of that. So if you hear infrastructure, basically just means it needs to move from TradFi to DeFi. That's what's needed, because in the TradFi, in the traditional finance, they already have their rails. They already have their payment processing systems. They have everything already. But now, to make things more efficient, 24/7 availability, settlement cycles much shorter, consolidate all the liquidity, using smart contracts to automate all these processes, we need a new and improved infrastructure. And once we have that, it will now connect, right, all those other asset classes together and bring them all under one blockchain network. And it won't be creating all these different silos, like we said, that causing friction right now when processing transactions, right? Like you can't have your portfolio you can't trade your portfolio, real estate portfolio, in the same wallet like you're trading your commodities or your stock or your bonds. You have to have you can't do that. But now with the blockchain technology, there is no friction, and you can do all that and bring it all together, because it's using one single distributed ledger technology, right? And all of that now can be consolidated and used for what? For collateral management, right? So, and all the fees and financial institutions are going to free up more capital, because now they can consolidate everything under one digital ledger technology, under one umbrella. They'll have so much more capital freed up, which is estimated to more than 100 billion annually. So we also verify all these facts. We're not just going to take them, to their face value. Here we see a repetition again. All these current technology in the TradFi are all outdated, right? They are systems that are relying on the same message-based system, which were pioneered back in the 70s. So these are old, outdated technologies that the financial industry is using, TradFi is using. So blockchain is the new technology known as the distributed ledger technology, and this has the potential to bring our current capital markets, asset classes, and update, refresh, upgrade their infrastructure into the 21st century by streamlining and automating manual and time-consuming processes. I mean, this hits it right on the head. So now that we've set the stage on and have a clear understanding of where we are, what's needed, what's the business case, why tokenization, why digital ledger technology, why smart contracts, automating processes, having 24/7 operations. This will bring more liquidity from TradFi to DeFi. Also, this will require initial investments to build infrastructures, so on and so forth. Now that we understand all of this, let's start by fact checking these things. Let's see what's happening in the real world. Are these things really taking place? Are institutions really embracing blockchain technology? Are they really doing what it says it's doing? So let's pick up on the latest articles placed yesterday. We always like to use up-to-date events, current events that are happening in the real world, and use them as verification of articles that we read, because keep in mind, these articles are dated, right? These articles, like this one, is 6 months old. It's back from December last year, December 10th, 2024. So we like to use such articles with such bold statements and then verify with current events. So this is the latest event that just was tweeted yesterday. So this is a current event. We're using a current event to verify an article that is 6 months old. So here we have this, ironically, this business, this company is called BTCs. So literally they started as a Bitcoin company, right? But now they are rearranging their financing to buy up 57, let's say 58 million of Ethereum for continued strategy. So literally they're doing what MicroStrategy is doing, but now they're using Ethereum for it. So let's get to the bottom of this. So this is an individual that is the CEO, right, of this company. And this is a post that was posted, and he's proudly saying here that I am proud to share that this is the company. We'll get to the bits, to the nuts and bones. We will get to all of this. But for right now, let's just focus on this tweet. He's saying that he is very proud to share that this is the company, has arranged a financing facility of up to, like we said, almost 58 million. So why is this so relevant? Because of this new capital. Remember what we just read earlier? These are verifications, community. We like to verify things. Remember this article, it said that all of this new technology using the distributed ledger technology will be for collateral management. This will enable financial institutions to free up substantial capital, right? This is what we're verifying right now. So this is the CEO literally confirming the article written 6 months ago, that now they can free up some capital that will allow them to rapidly scale their Ethereum validator operations and grow their ETH holdings, as we remain dedicated to growing revenue and driving long-term value for our shareholders. So validators are the ones that literally are running servers and software. If you want to stake ETH right now, you have to use validators like this company right here. So this is a validator. What they do is they have to hold at least 32 ETH. Now with the Spectre, with the upgrade, the latest Ethereum upgrade, it's up to 2048, right? So now these are the validators that we are using, we have to use if we want to stake Ethereum, because the hardwares are expensive. You have to have an uptime of 100%. You have to be online all the time. So many of us have a life, right? And have things going. We can't just be on our screen all day. And these businesses do that for us. So, however, we have to give our wallet addresses and key and seed phrases to them in order to stake our Ethereum with them. They are validators. They're the ones who are running servers and are running different softwares and are staking ETH. So this is their business they are in. And now they are putting together funds by issuing their stocks to their shareholders, and then using the funds to literally grow their ETH holdings. So they have a ETH strategy, Ethereum strategy. So this is pivotal. It's a pivotal time, he further writes, for Ethereum. So capital markets and the broader crypto ecosystem. So which is why, and this is the interesting part, community. So this is the CEO, right? And he personally invested in the initial, almost $8 million in this financing right here. So the 7.8 million out of the 57.8 comes from him personally. This is his private money that he's investing, right? So this reflects my conviction in our long-term strategy and confidence in the evolving Ethereum ecosystem. This is a post that this individual makes, the CEO of this company. So what we're doing, we're just verifying whether it's really a fact that institutions are literally embracing the blockchain technology. They're really using it. They're really making the most of it. We're just verifying, right? So now here we are in the Twitter. This is the Twitter page, right? And like, again, they're into blockchain building, block building, and they're validating, right? It's very lucrative because they charge fees for you to stake your ETH with them. They're charging you fees, right? Obviously, staking and staking fees. And they're also developing solutions on Ethereum. This is what they're in the business of doing. So furthermore, here we see that the initial 7.8 million tranche includes a personal investment from CEO Charles Allen. We just read his tweet, reinforcing leadership's alignment with our strategy. So literally, the CEO of this company is putting his money where his mouth is. Literally, he's not just shilling Ethereum. He's literally putting his funds, personal funds, at stake, and he's the first investor in all of this, basically. So we see that, okay, institutions are really jumping in, they're on board, and this is great to see. It's to verify what we just read earlier, and we can clearly see that indeed there are adaptation going on. So, but this is on an institutional level, and we see a CEO that is literally so convinced in the Ethereum ecosystem that he himself is adding his personal funds into this. So this capital infusion enables us to expand our Ethereum validator node operations and increase ETH holdings, executing at what we believe is a critical inflection point, so on and so forth, as the Ethereum ecosystem evolves. So their company remains committed to building scalable infrastructure that drives recurring revenue and long-term value for their shareholders. Great. So this just shows you that what they're saying is that they believe that with staking ETH, they'll be receiving revenue, staking rewards that then they can share with their stakeholder as well. So not only is Ethereum a technology that derives its value from adaptation, but it's also giving you staking rewards that then you can share with the stakeholders, and you can increase your stake as well by doing by restaking even more of that ETH, right? So that's their strategy that they're using. Now, this is on an institutional level, right? And on a personal level in the eyes of the CEO. So let's look at what about on a government level. We verified this. We know this article as well. So we see here that the Swiss state-owned bank, Post Finance, they are also into ETH staking. They actually already launched ETH staking, and they're already providing this service to their 2.7 million customers across Switzerland, right? And all it takes is it allows people to stake starting from just 0.1 ETH. So the Swiss government, in this case, the Swiss government is the validator. Earlier, it is the company, right? This is the CEO posting his company. He himself personally is investing, right? And this is a company that is validating. So they're into the validating business, right? So you can stake with them. That's what they do. That's how they generate revenue. Now, that's on a business level. Here is on a government level. So literally here, the validator is not a company that is traded on the stock market. The validator is the Swiss government. The Swiss government is the validator, and you can stake with them for as little as 0.1 ETH. So not only are institutions and personal investors, but now we see it that even the government itself, like in this case, the Swiss government, is the validator, and they're launching, or they launched already, Ethereum staking for their 2.7 million customers across Switzerland. So we verified again that literally this article is saying that we read earlier from the World Economic Forum, it's literally happening right in front of us. We saw institution, we saw the CEO of that institution. Now we saw a whole government, the Swiss government, not just some random, this is not some random low level, and this is not meaning with no offense at all, but this is a very well established financial hub that runs the most deflationary fiat currency in the world, with the largest asset, with largest assets and foreign reserves in the world, only behind China and Japan. And they are backing their citizens and residents in Switzerland by being Ethereum validators, right? So now let's go and check on retailers. We saw companies, we saw states, governments. What about retailers? What are retailers doing right now? So before we come back to this, let's just briefly go up and see what's happening here. So we see how in this specific, this is UBS, right? UBS conducts analysis, and they found out that very wealthy individuals in the continent of Asia are literally shifting, and this is not just Asia, this is globally. However, this article just highlights specifically Asia now. Wealthy Asian individuals are literally shifting from US dollar to what? To crypto, gold, and it talks about the Chinese market, right? But we want to focus on the US dollar, from shifting from the US dollar to what? Cryptocurrencies and gold, right? So banking giant UBS, which is the largest bank in Switzerland and the largest bank in Europe, and one of the largest banks in the world generally, they say that their high net worth clients in Asia are moving from US dollar assets towards gold, crypto, and the Chinese market, right? These are now retailers. These are now retailers. So high net individual clients from across Asia are gradually moving away from US dollar based investments, favoring gold, cryptocurrencies, and Chinese assets, right? So without getting into too much detail, I just wanted us to have an overview of what this article is all about. Let's shift down and see first of all, the reason why it was cited that the reason was, like we said, the geopolitical uncertainty. So if there is uncertainty, usually investors used to run to the US dollar. But right now, they are seeking alternative investments, right? Like it says, traditionally, it used to be concentrated, it used to be in a US centric assets, right? Investors traditionally used to concentrate in US centric assets, right? They're now, however, that is slowly changing. They're now seeking broader exposure across, this is the key here, alternative assets and alternative asset classes. That's what they're looking for. And that includes crypto, commodities, and other currencies. This is very interesting. Keep this in mind. Traditionally, investors used to concentrate in US centric assets, right? But now they want alternative assets, including crypto, commodities, and other currencies. Let's keep this in mind. So, let's also look at what is suggested right here. This is an asset manager, and this is what this is an asset manager, the largest bank in Switzerland, the largest bank in Europe, one of the largest banks in the world. They are asset managers, and they are recommending that you should have a balanced portfolio that includes 40% of fixed income. Fixed income are bonds, as simple as that. Fixed income is bond, and then equities are stock market, and then 15% alternative, right? Alternatives, like we said, alternative can be crypto, and so on and so forth, real estate, whatever the case may be, right? And then also the remainder is in cash or cash equivalent. So what we need to look at here, community, is that where are these? Where is the bond market, right? Where's the fixed income? Where are the stocks? And where are the alternative investments, right? Before we get to this answer, let's just refresh our memories. Remember how we started this session? We talked about how tokenization is transforming global finance and investment, literally. So this means that these tokenized assets is a brand new asset class that are being looked at, and they are taking place on a digital ledger technology, like we just discussed and took our time to discuss all of this. And it's based on smart contracts, automating processes, so on and so forth. So now that we understand that, and all these tokenized assets is the future, now let's come and answer this question right here. So this is a beautiful website, and it talks about exactly that, tokenized real world assets. That's what the RWA stands for. These are real world assets, and they come in form of, like in this case, stable coins. Stable coins are tokenized versions of fiat, like the US dollar, right? And then we have tokenized US treasuries here as well. These are literally tokenized US treasury bonds. And then we have commodities, like we just discussed. What is a commodities? Gold, copper, right? All of those commodities. And as we see here, if you look at commodities, they're literally 99.9% in Ethereum as well. And then, of course, the stock market as well. These are the 4 different asset classes, right? Remember how the whole idea that was to consolidate everything, put everything under one digital ledger. And these are the 4 asset classes, right? These are currencies, fiat currencies, the bond market, commodities, and stock. These are the 4 asset classes right now. And if you look at them individually, you'll realize that every time the underlying digital ledger technology is Ethereum. Commodities is Ethereum. Treasury predominantly, like we see here. Let me find a good, is Ethereum. And if you look at stable coins, now keep in mind these are asset classes, and the whole idea is to bring them all together under one system, right? And even stable coins, as you see here, predominantly on Ethereum. So the real world assets, the tokenization of the global finance and investments are taking place under one digital ledger. And that ledger is called Ethereum. Whether it's stable coins, whether it's US Treasury, tokenized US Treasuries, whether it's commodities, it all ends up being Ethereum. So now that we've highlighted that, let's look at other things. What else are we seeing here? How else can we verify that statement? So another thing, yesterday, we always like to use the latest events, the current events. So yesterday, JP Morgan Chase, the largest bank based on market cap in the world, settled their very first tokenized US Treasury bond. Now, just to remind ourselves, in beginning of this year, there was something major that took place, and that was an executive order. And that executive order from the US president was to strengthen the dollar, strengthen the bond market. How do you strengthen the dollar? How do you strengthen the bond market? We just read that article from the World Economic Forum. They say that it has to go through tokenization. So here we have the largest bank in the world, not locally and regionally. This is a global largest bank in the world based on market cap, is literally complying to strengthening the bond market, strengthening the dollar. And how do they do that? By tokenizing the US bond market, tokenizing US treasuries. This is not wishful thinking. This is not, oh, let's hope it will happen eventually. This has nothing to do with speculation or with being a maxi, but this is a fact. It's happened, and it happened yesterday. It's a milestone, major milestone. They settled a tokenized US Treasury bond transaction through a public blockchain for the very first time. Never happened before. For the first time. So it's rolling. These are things that are happening as we speak. So another beautiful thing I would like us to look at here is that we all know about JP Morgan's digital asset operations, that they were using their private chain Onyx. Onyx is their private chain layer 2 on Ethereum, right? And they are now moving from being a private chain, having a private blockchain, and being public now, right? And this is a shift towards more open financial infrastructure. Does infrastructure remind us of anything? Let's go back. Let's use YouTube. Now that we can share our screens, let's use this infrastructure. Remember the business case for tokenized assets, for tokenization. What was the major business case? What was required to meet this business case? What will be required is a new infrastructural backbone. So infrastructure is required to meet all of this. In theory, all of this sounds great, right? Have a smart contract, let it be automated, let it settle all the settlements in shortened time, put all the liquidity in one place, use one digital ledger, distributed ledger technology, where we can consolidate all the liquidity and then use that liquidity for collateral. It will free up all our money. In theory, it sounds all great, but we need a new infrastructure to do that. And this is exactly why JP Morgan did yesterday. We are right on schedule. They are building infrastructure on a public blockchain for the very first time. And this is not wishful thinking. They're not going to do it in 5 years. Actually, they already did it yesterday. So these are things that are just verifying exactly what's taking place and how we're moving forward using the blend between traditional finance and DeFi, the blockchain technology. We see that these things are combining together and merging together, and one needs the other. Why pick one if you can have both of the best world, right? So let's further see, like we just discussed, um, it's not the first rodeo. It's the first time yesterday using tokenized treasury bills, US bonds. However, they already did tokenized shares, BlackRock shares, but for the same purpose, to use it as collateral. And they already did this back in October 2023. So it's not their first time to use the blockchain technology. It's just their first time to use tokenized treasuries, US bonds. But they already did tokenized shares, money market funds, using BlackRock's ETFs to do that. And just to highlight one more thing, like we talked about, the JP Morgan Ethereum based Onyx, remember the Onyx blockchain? It's on Ethereum, like we just discussed. And they have now a tokenized collateral network. They have a tokenized collateral network because the point of all the tokenization is to use all these tokenized assets as collateral for the largest market in the world, which is the derivatives market, right? Like we see here at the end, right? It's the derivatives market. Now, just to go back again and to remind ourselves, what did the World Economic Forum say? What is this for? What is the distributed ledger technology for? It is for collateral management. And this is the whole idea. You tokenize, the business case for tokenization is not just smart contracts and automating processes, improve the liquidity, have more market efficiency, settle things in shorter times, have a 24/7 operations, build an infrastructure. That's all great. But all of this comes down to using the digital ledger technology for collateral. It's as simple as that. Because if you have collateral, that means you have liquidity. You can borrow more, you can spend more. So all this tokenization that is taking place is for collateral. Why are we highlighting and stressing on this so much? Let's come back here. Where are all these tokenized assets? Look at commodity. It's on Ethereum. Where is US Treasuries, like we just saw? Predominantly, it's on Ethereum. Well, what about tokenized fiat currencies? Where are those? Also on Ethereum. So we come full circle. Basically, what are we taking? What's the takeaway of this? What does this tell us? It's turning Ethereum into a collateral hub where most total values are locked. And if we come here, DeFi Llama, we always have to verify everything, community. Don't take people's word for it, on articles' word for it. It shows you how total value locked in DeFi, remember. And stable coins are on the top here. You see stable coin, but there's commodities, there is bond markets, all of that. And all that is in DeFi. So all of the total value locked is 115 billion, like we see here. All of it in all of DeFi. But if we just pick across all these different blockchains, like you see here in blue, but if we just look at Ethereum itself, Ethereum alone is 61. That means more than 50%. So more than half of all the value that is being locked and used as collateral, like we just saw, that's the whole game plan, right? It's all for collateral management, like we see here. The whole idea of tokenizing assets is not because they care so much about the technologies, because if you can use all those tokenized assets, which are in the quadrillion dollars, hundreds of trillions of dollars, we can now use all that tokenized assets on one distributed ledger technology for collateral management. That's the whole idea. And guess where that is built? It's built on Ethereum, and it's built by JP Morgan, and they have a tokenized collateral network that is already used by BlackRock, right? For the derivatives market. That's the whole point, community. That just tells us that eventually, Ethereum is serving as a place where all the total value of tokenized assets are literally locked and used as collateral. That's the whole point. And we see that very clearly here. This is Ethereum. Has over 60 billion. And for those who are quick in math, realize that's more than 50%. So 61 billion out of the 115 are on Ethereum alone. And this, like we discussed even in our last community event, without stablecoin regulation, without enabling ETH staking, without clarity in terms of all these tokenized assets. So imagine once the regulations are enabled, this number is going to increase even more and making Ethereum dominate even more in terms of tokenized assets in DeFi. So this is where we'll see established traditional financial institutions, TradFi, take advantage of the digital ledger technology, also known as the blockchain technology, which is also known as DeFi, which wants to tokenize all assets, bring it on chain on DeFi, lock it up, and use it as collateral for the derivatives market. And the infrastructure is already built, like we see here. JP Morgan, the largest bank in the world based on market cap, already have their own tokenized collateral network on Ethereum blockchain. So what are we saying with this, community? What's the whole point? Why are we stressing this so much? This is Fidelity. Fidelity is a BlackRock competitor, and they are literally one of the largest asset managers in the world. And they came up with a beautiful article here. They titled it Institutional Adoption of Digital Assets. And they were highlighting similarities, how to the evolution of commodities, right? Basically what they're saying is the way commodities grew to become leading assets to be traded on exchanges, they see similarities with digital assets that are similar to the commodities market. There was a time where commodities market were not traded on exchanges like they are today. There was a time when that wasn't the case. So here they're exploring the potential of digital assets as an emerging asset class for institutional investors, comparing the maturation of digital assets to the historical adoption of commodities as a mainstream investment vehicle, right? And they say that they can identify similar but yet not identical conditions to those that pulled commodities out of the relatively obscure corner of market and transformed them into a widely traded asset class. There was a time where commodities, and this was back in the early 2000s, commodities were not traded, and the commodities market was not as large as it is today 24 years ago, 25 years ago. It wasn't. It was a small niche before it turned into a widely traded asset class. So Fidelity, one of the largest asset managers, are comparing digital assets to commodities 25 years ago. And what they are saying is that just like with commodities, they saw how there were evolving products that were being offered, and it gave the market access for institutions to participate in those, right? Similar with how US enabled Bitcoin, Ethereum ETFs, and so on and so forth. They're seeing trends, similarities. So the takeaway here that I want us to understand is that they're saying, the argument, the case here is that digital assets are increasingly viewed as an asset class with potential to become a widely accepted component of mainstream investment portfolios. And we just looked at what the recommendation of the portfolio should look like. It should have bonds. It should have fixed assets. It should have stocks, and it should have alternative investment. And then we saw how, if you look at these various asset classes, this represent cash and cash equivalent, right? And it's on Ethereum, like you see here in blue. If we go to tokenized treasuries, we also saw that predominantly it's also on Ethereum. Same with commodities, right? Commodities, they say Bitcoin is digital gold. So even Bitcoin goes under commodities, right? As well, gold and all of them, look at where they're traded on Ethereum. So the bottom line, what Fidelity is literally saying is that all these digital assets that are getting ready to be tokenized will be traded under one digital ledger technology. And there'll be a new infrastructure being built to accommodate all of that. And it's comparing how there was a time where commodities was just a small niche, and eventually it became this widely traded institution, like widely traded market. And to make the point and to bring the point home, community, let's look at some numbers. How big is the commodities market? How big is it? So since 2000, early 2000, so within 20 years, a little more than 20 years, a small niche, which is a commodities market, became a $142 trillion market. Keep in mind, commodities is just one asset class. Remember, it's just one of four. Commodities, and then there's retail, and then there's bond, there's the stock market. It's just one. And this one asset class is at 142 trillion. And where are commodities traded right now? Where is the commodities market? Where is it being traded right now? 99.9% of that 142 trillion global commodities market is traded on Ethereum. That's just one asset class. Remember, there's stock, also traded on Ethereum. There's treasury, like we just said, also traded on Ethereum. Why? You have to consolidate. You bring all those asset classes under one umbrella, and that umbrella is called Ethereum. If you go to stablecoins, same thing, predominantly on Ethereum. Community, we get the picture? I think we get the idea, right? So one market 20 years ago, commodities market was a niche, just like the crypto industry right now. It's a small niche. Only crypto enthusiasts, the early adopters, are using it. Our market cap is barely 3 trillion, and the entire industry is at 3 trillion. Here, one asset class, commodity, is at 142 trillion, and this commodities market is being traded on top of Ethereum. Do we get the idea? So you'll have the whole commodities market, which has a market cap of 142 trillion. You'll take the whole real estate market, which is 50 trillion. You'll take, just in the US alone, you'll take real estate, you'll take the stock market, you take the bond market, and tokenize everything on top of Ethereum, and then use it as collateral for the derivatives market, which is a quadrillion-dollar market, also on Ethereum. So we get the idea. I believe we get the idea. And commodities are, like you see here, includes everything from agriculture products, raw materials, energy, utility, right? All these green energies, be it solar, be it all these things, metals such as gold, like we said, or digital gold, Bitcoin, copper, aluminum. We can go on and on. We get the idea. All of these things go under the umbrella of commodities and are traded right now predominantly over 99% on Ethereum right now. So let's bring this home. Let's bring this point home. Let's close out with this. We always talk about this App Store moment that took place in July 2008. The reason why iPhones took off was not because they were nice phones. It was because App Store. Actually, in 2007, iPhones were considered a flop. They were not selling. They were not being ripped off the shelves until Apple came up with the App Store, which launched 1 year later after the iPhones and quickly became this is the word, catalyst for mobile app boom. What caused a boom was not the iPhone. That wasn't the case. What caused a catalyst for a boom was the App Store. And it opened a whole new mobile app boom. And the App Store's launch coinciding with the iPhone 3G, it then offered a new way for users to discover and download applications, which in turn fueled an unprecedented era of app development and usage. What are we saying? We just saw what happened. We just saw the App Store right now. And that App Store is called Ethereum. The applications on Ethereum are various stable coins, like we see here. Where are they built? Look at all these applications. These are all applications, from the first one to the top 10 applications. Where are these applications built? Where are they being developed? They're being developed on something known as Ethereum, here in blue. What about these applications? Tokenized treasury bonds. Where are these applications developed? These are applications. Securitized, Ondo. These are applications. Where are they being built? They're being built on Ethereum. What about commodities? Where are these? They're being tokenized, turned into applications so that they can be deployed as smart contracts on chain. These are the applications right here. Where are they being deployed? Commodities, even 99% is on Ethereum. Community, we get the idea. Like, I don't have to spell everything out, right? We get the idea. This is why we always talk about the App Store moment, that we are in it right now. But it's not called Apple this time. It's called Ethereum. Just replace Apple with Ethereum, and this is the catalyst for the boom. And this catalyst didn't come from retailers. It came from existing institutions like your bank, like your established applications were developed by existing businesses. And this is exactly what we are seeing right here, what we've been going through right here as we've started this. This is an existing registered licensed business that is literally offering Ethereum staking as validator, and they're using their raising funds to purchase and increase their Ethereum holdings. This is a country, not just your regular country. This is where peace talks are made. This is the home of the World Economic Forum, the Bank of International Settlement, the IMF. Everything that is important seems to take place right there in Switzerland. They have the best run Swiss central bank, right? And the strongest currency in the world. And the state, the government of Switzerland, are the validators of Ethereum staking. This is the Swiss government offering their citizens and residents Ethereum staking option, and they serve their residents as the validator. I mean, how much more faith will you have if your own government is the validator and staking ETH? There's no more confidence than this. And then if we go down to the retailers, same thing. They are recommending that you should have 40% of your as fixed income. This is the bond market. Where's the bond market? Where tokenized assets traded? It's on Ethereum. They are tokenized and traded on Ethereum. This is a recommendation for your portfolio. So these are applications that are being traded on top of Ethereum. Equity, stock market, we saw it. It's on Ethereum. Alternative investments, which include cryptocurrencies, they're also predominantly, let's go there. Let's not just talk about it. Let's show it. So this is Ethereum, right? Alternative investments. Let's look at alternative investments. These are Lido, Aave. Aave is being used heavily. Lido has total value locked of 23 billion. These are all applications on top of Ethereum. And they're the largest applications in the entire industry. So when we talk about having an app store moment, replace Apple and plug in Ethereum in there. And now you have a catalyst for a whole new mobile application boom. And this boom is led by the likes of the Swiss government. It's led by the likes of this company right here. We already know about Visa, MasterCard. We know about JP Morgan, right? We just saw them right here. We know about BlackRock. These are the usual suspects that are coming on top of Ethereum. So let's bring all these points home and close out with this. Why are we highlighting all of this? We're saying that if you have an ecosystem that is not equipped to make the most out of all this liquidity rush that is about to take place, all the volume, you're going to miss out. That's just a fact. You're going to miss out. And just to highlight one thing here that is very important, we always call ourselves liquidity, like a liquidity king, like BULLRUN is liquidity king, right? And this is not just talk. We can see it here. We are closing in on almost 600,000 just in liquidity alone. To be specific, 586,000 in liquidity. And that at only 2 million market cap. So this is why retaining liquidity and having strong fundamentals is so important. It is so important. So if you don't want to miss out on the liquidity rush like we just discussed for the last hour, you have to have an ecosystem that is addressing these 4 challenges. And what are the 4 challenges? Lack of liquidity. With every trade, 3% of liquidity is being added. Inflation. We started with 1 million in supply. Where are we now? Let's verify on-chain. This is Etherscan. These are data on-chain on a distributed ledger technology. And we can see that we are down to 962,000. And this is our max supply. So we started with 1 million and our supply is literally shrinking. This is what you call scarce. With every trade, the supply is literally shrinking. And this is the optimal, this is what you need for a staking platform. Keep in mind, we have a staking platform. You see it right here. The number 1 wallet here is a contract. This is why you see here, it says contract. It's a smart contract. This smart contract is a staking contract. And by the way, community, we are above 75.6% of the total supply is staked. This is unprecedented. What does this mean? Out of the total supply of 1 million, and now we are down to 962 right here. Out of the 962,000 remaining tokens, 727, almost 728,000 of it is staked inside of a smart contract, and it's closing in on 76%. We are about to tick the box of being the most staked cryptocurrency in the entire industry. Not in Europe, not in North America, not in Africa, in the entire world. In the entire world. We are about to be the most staked cryptocurrency in the entire industry. And not just the most staked, but we have a staking platform that has a supply that is literally shrinking. And not just shrinking, we have one that is literally accumulating liquidity forcefully and in 4 different ways. Not only that, but we have one that is literally keeps accumulating USDC distributions with every trade also. Right now, we are sitting at 7,900 USDC, as you can see here. We are closing in on 8,000 USDC locked in this smart contract. This is the staking contract. So those who are staking the BRL right now, that 76%, they're about to, once we enable staking USDC distributions. So far, there's closing in on 8,000 USDC that is about to be enabled so that the stakers can start receiving the USDC distributions. What are we saying, community? The only way to take advantage of all that is about to come our way, you need a platform that is fundamentally solid and has sustainable staking distributions and is using its volume efficiently and is using the digital ledger technology deployed through as smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain. That's what you need. And then even that is not enough. Then you need a platform to enable exchanges like we have right now. Have a platform where we can have a communication with the community and we can learn together on the challenges and how we are addressing those challenges. What specifically are those challenges? And how are we using this digital ledger technology to address those challenges? And how are we as a community involved in the process of being a part of a solution and not part of a problem? This is what these educational sessions are all about. This is why we do these daily tweet activities to bring awareness, to highlight the challenges, and to point onto the solutions that our ecosystem bring. So if your ecosystem is not part of a solution, the only other option, because it's a 50-50, either you're a part of the solution or you're part of the problem. So if you're not part of the solution, obviously you're the part of the problem. And how are you part of the problem? By not addressing lack of inflation, right? Lack of liquidity, inflation, unsustainable staking distributions, and not using your volume efficiently. And this is what we inform and educate about. And we highly encourage the community to always think critically, question things, verify, quadruple check, right? And this is why we stress so much on education. And this is why we offer daily education on Zoom. We offer, we have the weekly Zoom sessions, YouTube sessions like today. On Wednesday, every Wednesday, we have the wonderful queens, Queen Debbie and Queen Val, on Facebook, educating about blockchain technology. And then we have Fridays and Sundays exclusively for the queens, also on Zoom, uplifting each other, informing each other, and educating themselves. And then we have Mondays and Saturdays on Twitter Space. So we are very active, and we're not selling any online courses or any subscriptions. This is all free. It's free education because knowledge is power and it should be dispersed for free, right? And this is what this community is all about. And final words, if you focus on fundamentals, community, if you focus on addressing the challenges in the industry, then what moves the industry is not what you have to talk. You don't have to talk about liquidity. We don't have to talk about the price. These are then just tend to be beautiful side effects, right? These are just the side effects of a solid community with strong fundamentals that focuses not on price, but on fundamentals. Because if you focus on fundamentals, the price will do its thing, the liquidity will do its thing, the supply will keep shrinking, and the USDC distributions will be plenty for the stakers, like we see here. So why waste hours talking about price and speculate about price? Let's focus on the fundamentals: the price, the liquidity, the USDC distributions, the supply. Everything else is going to happen on its own, and price will be just a byproduct of things. And all of this is not possible without the collective effort of the entire community. So we are a very humble community. I can speak on all of our behalves. We are very humble. We are hardworking. We keep our heads low and work hard and very humble about it. But let me give you your roses and tell you that all of our success so far, it's been organic. It's been through sheer effort and will and consistency. And we're here because every single one of us that is dedicated to this cause, to this movement on a daily basis, consistently, no days off, always on, no excuses. So, community, this is what this session is all about. I hope that we were able to take away something from today's session, which is to understand that indeed, the traditional finance needs the blockchain technology and embraces it. And we need both of best worlds. Why choose one or the other if we can have the best of both, right? And since tokenization is key, like we saw, and real world assets are literally traded under one digital ledger technology, and commodities, like you see here, 99% is on Ethereum. Like we say, treasury, tokenized treasuries is predominantly, like we say, 75% on Ethereum. And these alone are the largest industries in the world. And then the bond market, like the currency, stablecoin, also. And this before all the clarity and regulations. Once the clarifications, regulations are through, once ETFs, Ethereum ETFs are enabled to be staked, this will cause a floodgate on a whole different level. So that's it for us, community. Let's come and check with your comments. Let's check with you. The whole idea of today was just to embrace this technology that we have, and it's an app moment. So meaning that established traditional financial institutions are literally coming on board with their liquidity, with their expertise, with their existing clientele across 200 countries. They're bringing all of that know-how, liquidity, experience on chain. And we are ready for it. Our platform is ready for it. We as community members are ready for it. And we'll make the best out of it, right? So with that said, community, let me come to your comments. Great brother Theo says, greetings and happy Thursday, my great brother Steve, dearest great queen Mama Wino, and my awesome BRL family. Can't wait to get this session started. Welcome once more. It's always a pleasure to see you in the community, my great brother Theo. I hope you and yours are doing fantastic. Then we have Crypto Scales. Hello back to you too. It's a pleasure to see you in the community. And then we have Queen Debbie. Wonderful Queen Debbie says, happy Thursday, BULLRUN community. Greetings, my brother Steve and my beautiful Queen Mother Wino. I'm looking forward to this amazing topic. Thank you so much, Queen Debbie, for all your efforts, your leadership, your consistency. Very, very much appreciated. Like we just discussed, you and Queen Vala completely took over Facebook every Wednesday and are delivering very beautiful messages that we all as a community can benefit from. We appreciate you very, very much. We have Queen Patricia says, we are back again to feed from the knowledge trough. Thank you, Mr. Steve, for your dedication. We thank you as well, Queen Patricia, for your dedication. I've not seen you miss any of these sessions. Every session, I see you here participating, commenting, engaging. You are also just as much appreciated for your dedication, Queen Patricia. Then we have Queen Resego says, good evening, family. It's yet another blessed day where our very own dear brother Steve is empowering us. Thanks, our King. An honor also goes to our Mama Wino for having us at heart. Bless you. Thank you so much for your beautiful and encouraging words, Queen Resego. You're also very, very much appreciated. And we are honored to have you within our community. We appreciate your leadership, your consistency as well. You are always here participating in this session. And then we have here, greetings, Brother Steve and Queen Madawino. Thank you for another great learning session. Thank you too very much. We appreciate you for always participating in these community events. We have none other than Queen Lati. Queen Lati says, greetings, BULLRUN ecosystem family. It's another great opportunity to be tutored by our developer, King Steve. Today's topic is interesting as it delves into interrelationship of two systems. Beautifully said, Queen Lati. Beautifully said. So far, it's like pick one or the other, right? Why always put things against each other if you can make the best out of both worlds, right? Get the liquidity out of the traditional finance, bring it on chain, and then use the blockchain technology to facilitate, bring transparency, and bring regulation. And most importantly, we don't have to trust, right? Because we can verify everything on chain. So both need each other to function to its fullest potential. And that's the beautiful aspect of all of this. So well said, Queen Lapping. Then we have Queen Val says, hello family, happy Thursday to our amazing teacher, Mr. Steve, Queen Madawino, and to us all bull runners. Happy Thursday right back to you too, amazing Queen Val. You're very much appreciated for all the efforts you're putting in, and I appreciate the links that you posted for the community or those individuals that are not part of the community to be part of these, to join our Telegram groups. We see here Survivor, Killer Whale, and Bull Runner out. And we also want to thank you as well, Queen Val, for hosting Zooms every day, Wednesdays, along with Queen Debbie, Wednesdays as well. And also being a major part in being creative with these banners as well. Very, very much appreciated. We have amazing Queen Alice as well. Greetings, Dev, King Steve, dear Queen Mother, and BULLRUN family. Having traditional finance embrace technology is amazing. We are already set for the great things ahead. We are blessed as a family. Beautifully said, Queen Alice. There's really not much to add to what you just said. It's really beautiful to see history repeating itself and us going through another app moment. And this time it's not called Apple, but it's called Ethereum, and it's happening right in front of us, right? So let's embrace it, like you said, and we can look forward to what's coming towards us. We have Queen Kube says, hello, BULLRUN family, gathering once again to receive insights to today's topic. Thank you, Steve and Mama Wina, for freely affording us this opportunity. It's one thing to have an opportunity, but it's a whole different to grab that opportunity. And that is something we can't do. That's something we have to do on our own. And we thank you as well, Queen Kube, for making that choice to be part of this session, being consistent, being such a great example through your leadership as well. So that goes back to you too. It's one thing to often have an opportunity, and then it's another thing to take and grab that opportunity. So that goes to you, compliments to you for that. Then we have great brother and King Abdullahim. Hello, BULLRUN family, ready to dive into the most epic YouTube live stream session. Stay glued to your screens and get ready for exclusive insights, thrilling updates, and non-stop excitement. Let's go. Thank you so much, King Abdullahi. You're very, very much appreciated. What you're contributing to the community is just, it doesn't go unnoticed. You are very much appreciated. And I believe on behalf of the entire community, you are very, very much appreciated for all the efforts you put in. Then we have Queen Jane says, hello, BULLRUN family. I'm proud again to be among the community, which is always informed and ready to embrace the traditional finance technology and the blockchain technology, which is DeFi. Be blessed always. Thank you so much, Queen Jane, for all your efforts. You're always participating consistently in these events. You're always giving out feedback You are so appreciated. You're on all various platforms, always engaging, always interacting. Very, very much appreciated. And then we have none other than Queen Awina herself. Greetings to our amazing BULLRUN family. When we all lend a hand in helping the community, we improve everyone's quality of life. We appreciate your tireless efforts and support for the BRL community. Let me go back and read what you just said, Queen Mama Wina. When we all lend a hand in helping the community, we improve everyone's quality of life. This is so accurate. And this is what the blockchain technology is all about. It's about community. This is a concept that have lost its meaning, unfortunately. Because in our crypto industry right now, it's everyone on its own, right? Everybody just wants to step on each other, backstab each other, and just, let me get mine. That's the mindset, that's the mentality. But if you're focusing on the fundamentals and you put the community's best interests at heart and you inform, educate about how our ecosystem is addressing these challenges using the smart contract and empowering everyone equally, and that based on these strong fundamentals, like lack of liquidity, we are addressing it, we are retaining it. Why do people rush, and why is there always liquidations, or why these fear and uncertainty is always taking place? Because there is not enough liquidity for everyone. So those fights, it's like a survival of the fittest. So like Queen Mother says here, when we all lend a hand in helping the other community, we improve everyone's quality of life. And this is what our ecosystem is about. Whether with every trade, liquidity is added, supply is shrinking, USDC distributions are added, and we're using our volume efficiently to have a sustainable ecosystem. And this is what we need to for the community to really understand and embrace that we are part of a solution, and it's a win-win for every single one of us. No one can win on their own in our ecosystem. How beautiful is that? If we win together, and that's all we do. That's how it works. That's how it's supposed to be. Gone with the mindset of individualism. It's me and I care about myself alone. Nobody else should win but me. That's a mindset that is outdated, that is toxic, and doesn't belong to any ecosystem. And the best way to remove that mentality is by focusing on these four challenges, addressing these four challenges, address lack of liquidity, address inflation, address unsustainable staking distributions, and then use your volume efficiently. And then you don't have that trouble. And then educate about it every single day on various platforms, week in, month in, year, throughout the year. This is beautifully said, Mom. Thank you so much for your feedback. Thanks, Steve, for another great session. Thank you so much as well, Queen Mother Winner, for your tireless efforts, leading by examples, daily in Zoom, weekly in, every Sunday, every Friday with the queens there. We also thank all the queens for going out of their way to host events, to talk about the BULLRUN ecosystem, educate about the blockchain technology, without even calling out any names. You all know who you are, and it's just amazing to see so much collective effort. And we see the results clearly, that we are winning as a collective. We're winning together, community. We're on the winning team. Thank you so much, Mom, for your inputs, for your encouragement, for your leadership. You're very, very much appreciated. We have Queen Esther here, says, hello, Queen Mom, King Steve, and my BULLRUN family. Another day of learning. It's so exciting and empowering. Freedom is coming and is very close now. Let's keep our focus and our hope alive. Beautifully said. You really just summarized the whole thing. There's really nothing else to add, Queen Esther. And you're very much appreciated for also always being present consistently. You never miss a beat. You're very much appreciated. Then we have my cousin and brother, Lincoln. Evening, BULLRUN family. I am looking forward to learning more as always. Glad that you're able to take away something from today and participate. Um, Always a pleasure to see you in the community as well. We have a wonderful Queen Grace. Thank you, Steve, for your tireless efforts in educating, informing, and inspiring us. I'm proud to be part of this community as we address the challenges found in crypto space through our BULLRUN ecosystem. This is beautiful. Beautifully said, Queen Grace. There's really nothing else to add here. It's really straight to the point. This is something that we can take to our hearts, and you are just as much as appreciated for all your efforts, for your leadership, for your commitment, your consistency. You don't miss a beat. You're active in all various platforms, and you're very much appreciated, Queen Grace. Then we have Queen Emily says, thanks, Brother Steve, for being there for us. Blessings with Queen Mom and my community family. Thank you so much as well, Queen Emily. Also, you're consistently showing up. You're always active, always engaging, never miss a beat, consistently participating in these events. You're very much appreciated, just as much, Queen Emily, for all your efforts, your leadership by example. Goes a very long way. Then we have Queen Marilyn says, great session. Thank you so much, Brother Steve. God bless you. God bless you too, Queen Marilyn. You're very much appreciated as well for your consistency, your leadership by example, being active on all various platforms. Very, very much appreciated. Queen Super says, good evening, family. Listening attentively, and God bless you, Steve. Thank you for your feedback. I'm glad that you are able to take away something from today's session. May you also and yours be blessed as well. And then we have Queen, Brother Ernest. King Ernest says, thank you so much for such a great session, Brother Steve. Community, we are privileged to have such great minds in our midst. Thank you so much for your feedback. We appreciate you also for always participating in these events, always being parts of these events consistently. It goes a long way. We appreciate you very, very much. And indeed, you are also a very great mind, like the rest of the community. We are all just chipping in to the best of our abilities. We have Queen Virginia says, thank you for inspiring us. Thank you as well for inspiring us, Queen Virginia, with your consistency, leading by example, never missing a beat, always being making yourself available and participate in these events as well. Then we have Queen Aloshi says, greetings to you all, BULLRUN family. Wonderful, wonderful topic. Ethereum carrying the day in the crypto industry, and BRL the king. Thanks, Dev Steve and Mama Wino. Thank you too, Queen Aloshi, for your feedbacks, your consistency, your leadership is contagious. And we appreciate you very much for always participating and going out of your way to be part of these sessions. Then we have Queen Cindizo saying, thank you so much for sharing such information. We thank you as much for being part of these sessions and embrace this information as well. Community, this is it, and there is no better way than to close out this session with a grateful heart, right? And this is amazing. We have something to really be proud of ourselves and our accomplishments, how we are moving forward steadily. We are growing organically and making waves in this crypto industry, and we are part of the solution as a collective. We have Queen Wangechi here also saying, greetings all. Great session, Brother Steve. It's been a long time. Missing you a lot, family. Let's stay focused always. Glad to see you also again, Queen Wangechi. I hope you and yours are doing great. We appreciate you going out of your way to be part of this session today. Indeed, focus is key right now. There's a lot of noise in the community, in the industry right now, with all the geopolitics going on and all these things that are happening. However, it's for the good, because now we're hearing peace talks, we're hearing negotiations taking place in a positive manner, and so on and so forth. Community, This is it for today. I appreciate you all very, very much. I hope the message came through. Use these sessions as a point of reference. None of what we say is financial advice, of course. It's always just we're here to inform, uplift, educate, encourage, and share current events, and just highlight what our industry is all about, and then highlight the challenges our industry is facing and how our ecosystem is addressing them, and how we as community members are contributing to be part of the solution. With all of this said, I want to wish everyone a wonderful, beautiful rest of the week. With the Queens tomorrow on Friday, I wish you a wonderful session, as you always have, a very powerful session. And as we all know, where Queens gather, civilizations are born. So wishing you all, if you're not part of these sessions yet, I highly recommend to participate in these Friday and Sunday sessions where the queens come together, put their minds together, and move and literally shape this industry, shape this space. Community, this is it on our side. I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your week. Till we meet again, community. Bye-bye, everyone. We appreciate you all for being part of this session today.